Semiconductor, Nvidia, AI, and tech investors were pretty excited on Friday evening when we heard that a lot of the semiconductor and consumer tech was exempt from a lot of these reciprocal tariffs that are happening in China right now. Now happening here on Sunday, we're kind of seeing thoughts and discussions that things might not be as bullish as they seem. Now, luckily, if you watched my previous episode, you are ahead of the curve of some of the things happening right now. But on today's episode, what I want to do is take a closer look at what the market is expecting and what, in my opinion, is going to shift with these tariffs news, especially in the semiconductor industry. So let's take a closer look in today's episode.
I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
All right, so first, I want to start off with just a very, very quick update. So on Friday night, we saw that various products became exempt from the 100+ % reciprocal tariffs happening in China. And that was for consumer electronics like cell phones, like laptops, memory controllers, AI servers, and more. So this was very, very bullish for the semiconductor space. Now, a lot of articles and media was using the word exempt, which made it seem like there were no tariffs at all. But it is important to know that they are still subjected to the 20% tariff that is happening in China right now. And that was previously mentioned in my last video as well, right? So it's not like it was a complete exemption of tariffs for these products. It was only expected to move it over the tariffs bucket that they were in. In my opinion, as a tech investor, that is still very, very bullish, especially, right? You don't want to, I think anything over 100% tariffs in the consumer space would be extremely painful right now. But we can see from real Donald Trump here on his Truth Social platform, he talked about that there was no tariffs exemption announced on Friday. These products are subject to an existing 20% tariffs, and they are just moving to a different tariff bucket. Again, we did kind of briefly explain this in the previous episode. Now, we are gonna see more stuff. These exemptions aren't the final story. The current administration wants to do more study on the semiconductor supply chain before making any finalized numbers with a strong emphasis on national security. And here we can see that we are taking a look at semiconductors and the whole electronic supply chain in the upcoming national security tariffs investigations before they add more tariffs into this segment. So a quick, too long, don't read is they were exempt from this huge tariffs news that was happening on China with that 100+%. They are still included in the 20%. The current administration is doing some form of studies of analysis on the electronic supply chain, and later on they're gonna make more updates to this news. Now, based on current reports right now, it does seem like Trump will explain tariffs on electronics on Monday. I think this is maybe a little bit too soon. I don't know how much analysis you can do in a few days, but hopefully if this does happen on Monday, we are gonna get some clarity. Now, I want to look at stock prices, and obviously, even like I mentioned, 100% is crazy. 20% seems a lot better, and you can kind of see a lot of semiconductor and tech stocks up right now. We can see, for example, AMD overnight is up nearly 3%. Quick caveat, these are very low volume times, so things can change before the market opens. But right now, it's kind of giving us at least a bullish sentiment towards the tech space. Best Buy, I wanted to kind of show this because this is a major retail store of consumer electronics. They are up nearly 6% overnight. Nvidia up nearly 3%. We also see Apple, one of the big winners here, up over 5%. We see TSMC up over 2%, and we see Supermicro up over 4%. Obviously, AI servers, very bullish. And then Dell Technologies, a company that focuses on AI servers and consumer tech was up over 7% overnight. In forms of stock prices right now, even with this final clarification, the tech market loves it. And I think if we look at the futures right now, the futures, let me refresh, make sure these are updated futures. We can see the NASDAQ right now is up about 1%. So even with this finalization update on what was really happening, the tech market still loves it. And the main reason is, right, 100%, anything over 100% sucks. 20% seems like it's a little bit more digestible. Now, I want to give my overall thoughts. So first, as I mentioned in the last episode, I think the following could happen. First, consumer tech will eventually be hit with higher tariffs. And the reason being is I don't believe consumer tech is going to be something that is crucial for national security. And we did see from kind of the whole thing that one of the things they're going to be looking at is national security investigation. So I don't think consumer tech is going to be in this space. So in my opinion, I think the consumer market will get hit with higher tariffs in the upcoming days or weeks, but there is the possibility for company exemptions. And this being like maybe Apple goes and say, hey, look, we're going to be investing. We mentioned we're going to be investing a lot and a lot of money in the United States. Can we be exempt from these tariffs? Then the second thing is, due to national security, right, which is one of the topics that they are really emphasizing, is due to national securities, the following might be exempt. And the reason I believe the following will be exempt is because this is crucial to manufacturing in the United States and for the development of some tools that could be crucial for things like maintaining a strong position of power. So first is semiconductor equipment. In my opinion, there is no reason to create a friction to build fabs, right? If the current administration, if their goal is to build more manufacturing plants here in the United States, then this is something that needs to be exempt, because we have heard recent reports, and I'm going to pull up this thing, that tariffs on chip gear could spike United States fab costs, and TSMC is reportedly to spend about $6 billion or more with the current tariffs, as obviously equipment is super, super expensive, and then just the overall building. So if the country and the current administration is really, really towards kind of national security, one of those national securities is being able to build advanced chips here in the United States, then I believe we are going to see an exemption on semiconductor equipment. So those are just my overall thoughts. If the current administration, in my opinion, is thinking about the future of manufacturing more here in the United States. The second thing I would say, and we have heard reports that TSMC has worked certain things with the current administration. We saw that TSMC, if we kind of look here, TSMC, $165 billion that they announced in March of 4th. Previously, they had $65 billion invested due to the CHIPS Act, due to the, I guess, maybe force of the current administration. They mentioned that they were going to invest an extra $100 billion. So again, you can't be trying to force or bring manufacturing into the United States, but at the same time make it more expensive for them, because that creates a friction. So again, that's why I do believe things like semiconductor equipment will be exempt for future tariffs as well. The second thing that I think can be exempt, and again, these are just my overall thoughts, and would love to hear some of your thoughts of what can be exempt and what cannot be exempt. I think AI servers and some material to build data centers in the United States. And my main reason, again, if we're looking at national security, we cannot slow down the innovation rate of artificial intelligence in US soil. Right. And I think a lot of these big tech players are going to be talking to the current administration and saying, hey, look, we, Meta Platform, OpenAI, and all Microsoft, all these big tech players are investing in data centers here in the USA. And they can say, if you want us to provide the best type of AI solution for the United States, you have to make sure that we don't see much an increased cost in data centers. We are bringing that data centers here to the United States. It's not like we're sending them anywhere else. We're building them here in the United States. Can you make it where these AI servers, this material being built for data centers is somewhat exempt. Now, this one's a little bit trickier, right? Because it depends on the material, but I'm going to say AI servers at least are going to see some form of exemption, maybe some form of tax credit or something if you are showcasing that you're building these massive data centers in the United States land, because like I mentioned, AI is crucial for national security. So I think we're going to continue to see a lot of volatility in the stock market, but I am hopeful that these two are going to be exempt because one, obviously it will be very good for my overall portfolio, but in theory for the innovation and push here in the United States, having expensive equipment creates a friction of building fabs. Having expensive data centers creates a friction of innovating in the AI space here in the USA. So hopefully we get more color in the upcoming days of what's going to be exempt or not. But this is right now what's really happening. Like I mentioned, a lot of these semiconductor consumer electronics are exempt from the 100 plus tariffs. They are still subjected to the 20% tariffs on China. These exemptions will eventually switch over to a different tariff bucket once more study is done about the semiconductor and electronic supply chain. And my overall thoughts that there are going to be some products that are crucial for the United States and semiconductor and just national security, that they should be completely exempt from any tariffs. Now, will that happen? I don't know, but those are my hopeful thoughts. So let me know, what are your thoughts in the current market right now? Obviously, we can wake up tomorrow and things can change, but overall, I am still very, very bullish for the tech industry. So take care, have a good day, and see you all next time.